thunder.
And then that way we're good. You under thunder?
I am under thunder. Under thunder.
You are under thunder.
So I've got the
thunder.
radar map behind me here, and I'm under that red blob.
So if T.O. drops out, we will know why. Because he's under thunder.
Under thunder.
So what is going on? We have a really exciting show today, don't we?
So we're doing a couple of things, too. We're actually simul-streaming, and this is...
So this may or may not work. Who knows?
It appears to be working. So it's going out on Ham Radio DX YouTube channel, and it's going out on TO YouTube channel, all at the same time.
So if you're in the chat and you're watching on TO's channel, pop a little TO into the chat. If you're watching on my channel, pop a little VK in the chat. And then we can see what the split is. But yes, today we're talking about... We've been sort of teasing this for the last few weeks, haven't we? Kinda.
Teasing this?
Kinda.
I'm not teasing it. It's
teasing
right there.
that. What is that? No, you can't show it yet. You can't. It's too early. Too early.
Okay. Sorry.
It's
how about this one?
There we go.
The mess.
Do you want to start off? What are we talking about anyway?
So a while ago, and it actually has been quite a while, and then Hayden gave me the kick in the pants that I needed to get this started. So we're teammates in this at this point. I got this radio here, and this is a Retevis RT95. And the cool thing about this radio is that if you look at the microphone, it has a speaker right here, and then it has a microphone right there, and then it has a PTT switch on the side. So this has speaker, mic, and PTT all present on this little cable right here. And I was thinking to myself, boy, that sure would be pretty cool to do your digital modes right from the front hole over here on the radio.
And a cheap radio as well.
Yeah, this is like $130 US. And it's 20 or 25 watts. I don't remember off the top of my head. It's more than enough watts to do what I'm trying to do. Digital modes don't need as much power because they do a lot of error correction and, full duty cycle, full signal strength, as opposed to your voice that kind of modulates in and out and so on. And so the idea to do that was born, and there is, I don't know if I have a whole one. No, I don't have a good one anymore. I'll use one of my butchered ones. There is this sound fob. This is actually a pretty cool design. This is I forget what it is, a Sobrent sound card or something, but it's just a circuit board, and it's thick enough so that you can shove it right into your USB hole without like a shroud or a case or anything. The PCB material itself is USB port thick, and that's how they do the USB port. And it comes with a set of 3.5 millimeter stereo jacks on it. So it has...
Oops, that was me.
Yeah. And
I'm still learning.
So I had to, and in order to turn this here into this
like
here,
that.
Exactly, you need to be a soldering wizard, because those little wires, they slide underneath of the ridges on the chip, as you can see there. Yeah,
it's very hard to do.
And then you see that, what is that? That transistor there, and there is a diode inside the sleeve, and there's a resistor right there, and you got to do all this little micro soldering work. And I was not good enough. Hayden actually got this one for me.
Was that the one I gave you? Was it?
Yeah, these are my two attempts, and I failed miserably both times. You can see the solder bridges on mine.
Your internet's going well. It's it is a bit of a blur. Well, To needs a bit of internet help. He's only on about 3 megabits at the moment, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, take your word for it. It was very hard to do. So you found that this was like, because these pins on this chip is absolutely tiny, right?
There's a name for that package. I forget what it's called. The footprint, the pin spacing, whatever.
Bloody small surface mount, I think, is what the footprint's called.
I think that's the technical term for it. And so, if you guys have run into the CFT1, which is a radio that our buddy Jonathan Kane made, Kanye. Yeah, Jonathan Kane. I'm going to go with Kane.
Not Kanye. Let's not say Kanye.
Right.
Yay.
He might show up.
Yee.
He might show up.
He might.
Helped me with this board, and this board does all of that same stuff. And if my picture is too potato, Hayden, you've got one you can show instead.
Yeah. No, yours is good.
Okay. So this does all that same stuff, but you notice this row of pin headers over here. These are the standard pin header spacing 2.54. I want to say 2.54 millimeter, but it's 2.54 unit. The pin headers are there. There you go. Let me get you some.
Yeah, keep going.
And
pin headers are there.
What this thing does is it exposes PTT. It exposes carrier operated squelch. So if your radio is busy listening to somebody else talk, it won't interrupt them, which we really should have in real life. It does audio in. It does actually stereo audio in left and right, but ham radio is mono. So do whatever you want with the other audio channel. It does plus 5 volts, plus 3.3 volts from the USB port. It's USB-C, and there's a couple of other pins exposed. I think there's 4 GPIOs total. So 2 of those are carrier operated squelch and PTT, and then there's 2 more left.
Yeah. Yeah, there's PTT, there's carrier operated squelch. There's also a input as well, which you can use to drive like an LED for a carrier operated squelch as well. There's another GPIO which is actually unused, and then there's also a volume up, which I'm not quite sure what you can use that for, but I'm pretty sure that you can map it or use it somewhere.
Well, which one of those is COS? I thought COS took one of the volume up, volume down.
Yeah, so volume down. Volume down, I think, is PTT. I think volume down is PTT, yeah. But it's all in the manual because we do have some documentation for this. So the idea behind this is to roll your own to some extent, but anyway, I'll let you continue on with the story and where it led to once I gave you the kick in the pants.
Yeah. So this is meant for tinkering, and that's why it's got the pin headers on it, so you can interface with any radio that you want. So I was going to interface with this, and then I blew the front end off the radio because I'm not as smart as Hayden is. And Hayden's already got it a little bit farther. It wasn't the fault of the board; it was the fault of the boring, the fault of me.
Yeah. So you did a video on it a little while ago, and I wasn't really paying attention. And you said, "Hey, I've got this board." And then, what was it? Probably a couple of months ago, I looked into this and what was going on with it, and we managed to crack the code, nut out what was going on. So I think you're going to follow that up again with that radio and try and get it to work with it, which I reckon you'll be successful with.
Yeah, I have all the documentation. I just haven't had the time.
Right. And what were you going to do with this board? We were going to use this for All-Star. That was the main purpose, or was it APRS you were going to use this for?
I was going to use it for everything. So this part here, this inspirational part is All-Star based. And the reason why you want to use the CM108 chip that's on here is because it has the GPIOs and you get the carrier operated squelch, and All-Star loves that kind of stuff. But it's just a sound card. So I mean, you can do anything with it. One of the cool ideas that my buddy Ziggy came up with was to take one of those big honking empty box 10-meter export radios, the ones that look like CBs but are really 10-meter radios. 10-meter radios. And there's totally not a jumper inside that you move like 1.2 to 2.3 to make it 11 meters and 80 watts on 11 meters. Yeah, totally don't do that. But you could put this thing directly inside of the radio, cut a little USB-C hole out of the back end of the radio itself, so expose this port, and then now you can do FT8 over 11 meters.
Yep. So yes, someone put in the chat there that it's a CM108 chip. That's what it is. So with the USBs that Steve was showing there, you can get these the cheap ones that you modify off of Amazon or AliExpress or whatever, but not all of them have legitimate CM108s, or they're not even CM108s. So sometimes you'll buy one of these thinking that you're getting the right one, but they actually don't have the proper chip. This one has the proper CM108 legit chip, which works with All-Star and a couple of the other applications as well. Now, the CM108 has a CM108 PTT, which you can control using simple USB in All-Star, and I've actually got an All-Star node over the back of my chair, which we'll go to Benchcam shortly, which is sitting there at the moment. There's a little bit of there's an interesting little board there as well on top of that, which we'll show you which we've been testing. But yeah, this
future.
allows you then future. So this allows you basically to bypass soldering, doing the hard work on that chip that To just showed, which is very hard to do if you're not very good with your soldering skills. Breaks it out to headers, which are much easier to be able to control and to be able to interface towards. Now, this board does not have a the external buffering or isolation or audio control to your radio.
Bring your own, and it's in the documentation how to do it.
Yes, and this is that's the whole point of this as well, is so that you can actually experiment with this, because we didn't want to just limit it to a couple of radios. We wanted you to be able to interface this to any radio that you want. I see that we've got a couple of questions, so we may as well get to questions A in the chat first. Yeah, let's get to a couple of those so that we can answer those. Right. Oh, before we do, this comment, yes, very hard to find the legit CM108 plus hard to solder and modify a CM108. Exactly. So this pretty much does what you want, and will mean that you won't have to go and modify that. What questions have we got?
I starred them.
Yep, cool. Here's the first one. Let's go with this one. Is that a DigiRig board?
No, it is not. DigiRig is an awesome board, and Dennis has worked really hard, and I really do appreciate all the hard work that Dennis has done. This is a step more raw, a step more tinkerer level, and then we make it untinkerer, and we'll show that as we get on in the show. But for right now, it's just, USB-C on one side and pin headers to connect to your radio on the other side. So that shows you how raw it is. There's not even a case yet, because Chris is kind of pushing a little bit. He's got some boards coming his way, and he's actually going to make a 3D printed case, and maybe he'll make that available, and who knows. But the point of this was to be more all-star, because I don't know that DigiRig does the carrier operated squelch signal from the radio to the computer. And again, DigiRig is like a kind of a finished product with ridiculously super nice cables. I mean, they're just gorgeous cables that Dennis makes. I got to figure out his secret on making those cables.
The thing though that we've been working on is we've started with this, and we want to be able to break this out into adapters and daughter boards and all sorts of things, and we'll show you what we've been working on shortly, what we've been doing in that regard. So we've got a couple more questions. Yeah, do you want to answer that one?
Yeah, so Sean's asking, is this an open circuit design, just roll your own that does what you want instead of bodge wires? So open source is kind of an interesting question to ask. It's a CM108 chip, and we're just following the reference design. So I mean, even if it wasn't an open source design, there's one chip and a couple of passive components and a USB-C port. So like, sure, we're not making the Gerber file available for you, but it wouldn't be hard for you to make one of these on your own. If you have enough skills under your belt to take this Gerber file and modify it to your needs, and you also have enough skills under your belt that you don't need this Gerber file. So it's sort of quasi open source, but not actually open source. It's a proprietary design, if that makes sense.
The first thing the other thing that we forgot to mention too is that this board has been tested on All-Star. So I've been testing it behind me, because we just had a question or a comment come in from Ken saying, you have to do a jumper on a DigiRig to emulate All-Star. Looked into it already. It is more than data oriented. It is more data oriented. The same question I think goes for which we had from someone else, because we released this to our channel members and also our Patreons early. So if you're interested in getting more up-to-date information and be the first on the list to know about it, especially the daughter boards that we're going to be doing, then become a member and a Patreon. But one of the questions we did have was, are we any different than the AIOC? And the AIOC does the same thing. It emulates All-Star. It works, but you do have to flash new firmware on, and it doesn't have a genuine CM108 chip on it. The other thing that you could do with...
Not a knockoff on the AIOC either, before you get too far away from that. The AIOC is a great board, and we sold them on our side. Hayden has sold them on his side. We're going to get them back in stock in the store eventually as well. But it is an STM32, which is a microcontroller. And then Simon has written a CM108 emulator to load onto the microcontroller, because why not? So it will do that CM108 stuff. but hopefully we're going to have a slightly, I hate to say more elegant, but I think it's prettier. Like you think your own baby is prettier than anybody else's baby. I don't want to sound like I'm knocking the AIOC because that's not the purpose of this. It's a fantastic board. Grab one. I've got one. But with the pin headers and the daughter board configuration, you're not limited to soldering on directly the 3.5 millimeter, 2.5 millimeter plugs. And there's even an AIOB board that still has those same solder pads. This one has this 2.5 millimeter, which is the standard pin header spacing that you get. Like your Raspberry Pi GPIOs use the same size, your breadboards use the same size, et cetera, et cetera. So like there's lots of prototypes.
You literally roll your own. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just going through. Okay, so that we've already done that question. How does this compare to the Shari Pi aside from supporting more modes? The Shari Pi, I've got one here. Yeah, you've got yours there. So the difference with the Shari Pi is that it's got the RF module in it. So low power. So with the Shari Pi, you build that hat that pops onto the top of the Raspberry Pi, and then you've got the radio all built in. The only problem, and that works really well. I think they're, what are they like? $150, $200. I can't remember how much those Pi hats are. Whereas ours
Totally
is
worth it.
priced. Yeah, ours. Yeah, they're great. I've got one here. Well, actually, I've got two here. But the ours is priced a little bit cheaper. Which there's another question. Someone's asked, how do we get this board? But before we go into that,
I should do that.
The only thing with the Shari Pi is that it's about, what are they, 100 milliwatts or something like that? 200 milliwatts?
It's an SI 818 DRA 818 chip, which is the same thing that's on the KV4P board, and it's limited to low power. And then you have to add filters, which Shari Pi Hat did, and so did KV4P. And so again, this isn't a radio. That's the big difference.
No. And this, you can interface, because it's so small as well, you can put this in any radio. So you could build a high-powered All-Star node. You could put it in a repeater as well. So if you want to enable All-Star on your repeater, you could wire this in directly to your repeater controller as well. There's a couple of other ideas that we had as well, and it's hard to keep track because we're trying to keep track of the chat as well. But yeah, there's a whole pile of other things. There's some more comments coming in. Let's just get to a couple more comments. This one was from Darren. The documentation is really good. That's good to know.
That's all
hopefully that helps.
And I helped it a little tiny bit.
We'll be sharing these links shortly as well of where you can get one of these boards, because they are available now. They're available in the US and they're available in Australia and New Zealand. So they are available. And the documentation is available for these. We just want to get through a couple more things first, so we'll tell you how to get hold of the board soon. We got this comment about the CM108 mods for WinLink, so it should be able to do that, so that should be good.
Yeah, this will support WinLink right out of the box with Direwolf AX25. I'm not sure about Vara, only because I've never tried Vara, but I mean, you can do Vara over Vox for sure. I just don't know about the PTT.
Yeah, so that's the other thing with the CM108. Now, as far as we understand, we haven't done our full testing yet, is a few people probably be thinking about WSJTX. Now, in WSJTX, as far as I understand, they've just released support for updating hamlib libraries, and I'm not sure if you can actually add in your own hamlib library for this board. Someone else who's smarter in the chat will probably be able to answer this and figure out if you can or not. But if you can add the CM108 in, then you can PTT it directly. Otherwise, for use with WSJTX, FT8 and all that sort of stuff, you'll have to rely on Vox until PTT is made available. That's right, isn't it? Yes. Is that correct?
I'm reading comments, so I missed it.
Or if you're frozen.
I was reading comments.
Yeah, right. Yes, so I'll just say yes, it is. But yes, you can use it for WSJTX.
With Vox mode, and WSJTX does Vox very well, because it's a 15-second over, and the first few seconds of it are dead air, and the last few seconds are dead air, so there's plenty of time to light it up.
Because what we're saying is it doesn't have the direct PTT being able to
Yeah.
be able to send via DTS and RTS like the normal PTT you would be able to. So, but I'm sure that someone's got it working in Hamlib.
Yeah, because all you need
I'm
to do
sure.
is update Hamlib.
And select the right radio, which we just haven't got to yet. We've only tested it with All Star and Direwolf and things like that. Right, what else did we want to get through before we get over to Benchcam to show off a couple of things?
There are a couple of other questions. GB Audio says, should I get my ham license? I live in Canada, and the Canada test seems harder than most other countries' tests. Yes, you should get it. Get you a radio today and start listening, programming your local repeater. You can do everything except for push to talk. So as a type of person who's more hands-on, I should have done that myself, and I didn't take my own advice because I didn't know I needed to at the time because I didn't know what my advice would be, having not had it at the anyway. Yeah, catch 22 before and after type deal. But do it. Get your radio, program in a repeater, listen, get an HF rig, put up a nice long wire antenna, do some shortwave listening, and some of the concepts on the test will make more sense because you've now done them. Like, why do you have to be 3 kilohertz away from the bottom of the band on lower sideband? It'll make tons of sense when you start actually turning the dial. And it was like just memorization if you're not turning the dial. That makes sense?
Lee might be correct. It might be GPI 03. I don't have the, let me open up the documentation.
It's the right,
so I can
it's
have
the
a
right
look.
pin,
It is,
Lee.
yes,
It's
it
like
is
doing math on
GPI
a string.
03.
Yeah.
What did we say? I think we said COS was volume down
Yeah.
on the pin. Yeah, we did. Right, so a couple of other bits. So Ham Tilt Hertz says CM108 support in FL rig, so maybe FL rig WSJTX.
Awesome. Well, that opens up a
did
whole bunch of digital modes too.
Yeah, I did briefly try FL rig, and I did get it to work that way, but I didn't look into it deeply enough to be able to easily tell you how to replicate it, basically. But yes, I'm pretty sure that you can use FL rig. And has it been tested with any handheld radios?
Not
No,
yet, but there's no reason
no.
why not.
Yeah, the only thing that handheld radios probably won't have is the COS squelch mute, whatever you want to call it, outputs, because they generally don't have those. But you should be able to do that. And like Tio said with the Vox stuff as well, that should also work if you have issues with PTT. Yep, Direwolf uses GPIO 3. Yep, so it'll work with Direwolf. No problems at all.
So this is Craig from DigiPi. Craig has an awesome YouTube channel. He has a Raspberry Pi image that you can get as a voluntary contribution Patreon member to his channel. So I think you just go in and you tell him whatever amount you want to give him, and he's like, okay, here's the image. Have at it. Have a blast. And he's got WinLink, FT8, JS8, APRS web chat, packet radio, WinLink server, not just WinLink client. And it's all in this little Raspberry Pi image that you put into a Pi 02W or 4 or 5, and good to go. So Craig's going to have support for this board in that software image real soon, which is going to open up most of that software for use. So yeah, Craig's awesome.
So James says, any chance of a daughter board to use DigiRig cables?
There's a high chance.
Yes,
Extremely high chance.
There is a lot. There is, so we can say the first daughter board has been made for this and tested, and it's sitting on the bench.
And you'll
We're
see
gonna
it
show
today.
You'll see it. The only thing is we were looking at variations and what we're going to come out with, like what particular daughter boards to come out with. So this is just the overlay of the board. Now the first thing that we just wanted to show out is there is the pin header, the original pins layouts here, which are detailed here on the J2. Now someone I think asked in the chat, can you interface directly to this? Can you connect your radio directly to this? And the answer is no, you can't, because of some of these outputs are just logic outputs. They're not driven, they're not buffered and all that sort of thing. So if you go
could
into the
fry
manual,
your radio like I did.
right. So
Part
if you
of
go
testing.
into the manual, which will detail everything, you'll be able to see some schematics, some test basic wiring diagrams, and then basically you can go from there and you can create whatever you want from there.
Yeah.
Now, when do we want to? When do we want to release that a little bit later? Is that what we're doing? We're releasing the manual and the details.
5 minutes. 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
We'll
Okay.
do it. Yeah. So this
We're a
board
tease. We're a
here-
tease.
This board here is for tinkerers. The daughter board
Yes.
that Hayden's going to show is for appliance operators. And I don't mean that in a mean, disparaging way, but like this one here is for you to have raw access to do whatever you want to do with it. And the daughter board that plugs in on top of this, the current one that he's got has the 6-pin mini DIN, which works with Yaesu, Kenwood, ICOM radios. And plug it right in, load your software, good to go. That daughter board will be out probably another 2 to 3 weeks. It depends on how, shipping times and so on. Shipping to
Yeah,
us
so-
to have inventory to ship to you.
Yeah, and we're still doing a little bit of testing on it, and I'll show you.
The
I'll
bug.
show you some of the some of the things we found when we're testing this is to make sure that we're not that it's working. Basically, should we show off the? Should we keep on going, or should we show off the daughter board now? I've got the schematic. I've got not the schematic. I've got the overlay up for the daughter board.
Yeah, you can
which
show
I
the daughter
off.
board. Sure.
Yeah, okay. So this is the 6-pin daughter board that Tio was just talking about. There's quite a bit going on, so let's go into the 3D view and have a look at this. Paul actually said, how many testers do we have?
Like 6 or 7.
Yeah, there's quite a few. So a few have their hands on these.
Some of them are even watching.
Yeah, so there's the 6-pin PS2 connector, which you see on the back of all of the Kenwood, Yaesu's, what are ICOMs, Alincos. There's like a whole bunch of radios that have this on the back. And this is designed for this was designed around the Yaesu, but it will work with the Kenwoods and everything else. So what we did was we incorporated the ability to switch between high mute and low mute if you wanted to interface your own radio to this. There's no reason why you can't use this connector and interface to whatever radio you've got. So there is a, if you have a high mute input or a low mute input from your radio, you can use that. The Yaesus and Kenwoods have 2 audio inputs which are labeled, I think on the Yaesu's labeled 9600 and 1200 for the for APRS for data outputs. So you've got 9600 board or you've got 1200 board audio, and I think
This
from
is
memory
really
that
slick.
the 1200 is de-emphasized processed audio and the 9600 is raw audio. So you can select between which one you want. You've got the left audio channel or the right audio channel coming out of the CM108, so out of the Toads DI board, which is what this is, the Toads DI board. So
Digital
you can select
interface,
which one.
DI.
Yeah, I'm not. When we did this, we weren't quite sure whether you needed left or right, but we put it in there anyway, just in case. There's 3 LEDs here on the front. There's a power LED, a PTT LED, and a COS LED. One of the things someone put in the chat: any smoke on test? No smoke on test.
Yeah, no,
But
no,
we
hold on.
did-
Yes, there was. Yes.
Was there smoke on test?
Yes. Yeah. Before you got your hands
Oh,
on it and helped me
yours.
fix it. This
Yes,
radio
yes, yours.
has suffered. So you'll see on the top that this, let me see if we can solo me. Solo. You can see that this has a Redivist name tag on it, and then it also has an Anytone name tag on it. That's because the whole front end of this radio has been replaced. And I don't mean front end from control surface front end, not front end from receiver input front end. Conflating terms there. You know what I mean. But yeah, I smoked this radio and I was able to get it fixed. And it was really weird. Like the radio part still radioed, but the buttons on the interface and the buttons on the microphone didn't work. Like you could turn it on and you could see it was locked on a frequency, and you could get it like to get started into like a firmware update mode, but then couldn't press any keys to get any farther than that. So yeah, I had to send it off for repairs. And I told him, like, I did it. What do you want to do about it? Like send me the parts, I'll fix it. Send me a bill for $20, whatever the case may be. Sell me a new front end. So
Yep. And then someone put So those pots volume control. Yes, you've got transmit audio and you've got receive audio. And these are 10-turn pots as well. 10 turn? It might be 20 turn. 20 turn pots. So you adjust these and you get very, very fine resolution. So you can adjust your audio very finely, which a few people might not be used to, but it's very accurate, which is good.
Lots
and then you've got
turns.
And then you've got the header. Now, they don't come with the headers installed. These boards don't come with any headers installed when you get them. No.
We were going to do the headers on the daughter boards, but not on this one because this is more of a tinkerer thing, and you can do headers or you can just do raw wires. Like I was doing raw wires on mine.
Yeah, we were going to provide headers. That's what we were going to do.
Yeah.
And then you can plug it directly straight in and then go straight into the top. And then obviously you've got all of your wiring of what pins what. So even if you had the daughter board, you could still access the top half of the board here too. So so we did all of this, and the other thing that we probably should also mention is that we got all of these made at JLC PCB as well. So we got our test development boards made there, and they've been really good. So if you are interested in rolling your own stuff for the Toads DI board, then you can use JLC PCB. And there's the link below as well to them to use those. So
yeah, I mean, I can see a daughter board that's got like a Raspberry Pi Pico on it or something. So that way you just plug this thing right into the radio and it's automatically an APRS tracker. Or yes, I had to correct him. Toads DI,
yes.
digital interface.
Yes.
Or you can put an ESP32 on it, which would then get you Wi-Fi and Bluetooth out of it. So you can take the audio and then convert it to Bluetooth and then shove it into your computer without having to plug in the USB for anything other than power. Or you can power it from the 6-pin port or the 8-pin port. I'm not sure off the top of my head. One of the ports on the back of the Yaesu radio does provide power out. One of the ports on the back of the ICOM radio does provide power out. So, there's a lot of direction that this can go in. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Ken says this looks like a cross between the Dyna and the Paul from Kits for Hams. So a lot of the idea and the thing that I got excited with this is a lot of people, once they started to get the Shari nodes, was that they were like, oh, we want to build a high power version of this. How do we build a high power version of this? And I was always saying to them, modify one of these, because you modify one of these and then interface it to whatever radio you want. But that was just too hard. So that's where this really excited us. So so that's where that's come in. And I think that it's going to be like, we've got already a Toads DI Discord. So there is a link. I think did I put the link in my channel? I think I did. Did you put it in yours? Yes.
I put it in mine. You put a Patreon membership link.
No. I didn't. I did. I put it down in the. There we go. There's the Discord.
The description?
The Toads. Yes, it's in the description. There's the Toads DI Discord. Join Toads. Scroll down. Find the Toads DI Discord. So that's where all the support's going to be for this. So we'll be in that answering some questions as well after the stream.
One of the things we're going to have to work on is a pass through from the USB port to something like a FTDI chip as another daughter board. Maybe a third layer.
Yep.
And then you'll get your cat control right there.
Paul said, are they both populated and unpopulated boards going to be available? No, they're only populated boards.
Yeah.
So there's no blank PCBs because it's just...
Bless your heart if you want to solder that surface mount chip on there.
You can if you want, but...
I've done it before. It's just not fun.
No.
Type 3 fun.
And the daughter boards, there's just too many surface mount components on those. Okay, we're just past half an hour, so should we...
I think we should.
We should. So do you want to organise that?
Organise
where you can get those from.
Pop it in the chat.
Right. So if you want to get yours from the US, if you're in the US, this is the US one from temporarylyoffline.com.
I'll grab your link unless you're already halfway there.
No, you do it.
Okay.
You're the salesperson. You can do it.
Well, then you keep
you're
talking.
In the US.
I'm linking.
Yeah.
Somebody registered hamradiodx.com.
Did they? Oh, yeah. No, it's dx.net. So the Toads DI board is what is available on. You're taking too long. I'll do it.
Yeah, well, I typed in the wrong URL. I got it.
There you go. If you're in, if you want to get yours from Australia, then
Oh,
you get
see,
those.
that's Hayden's link.
Yep.
I was being even
Yep.
better. I was
Yep.
going to link directly to the board. Patience, young one.
Or you could do that. You could do that too. Either one, those links work. So if you're in Australia or New Zealand, now for the UK, there's probably some people that will be watching later on because they're probably all asleep in the UK. We're still not sure about that. I can ship from here to the UK, but it does cost like half the price of the actual board itself to actually ship it, which is always a problem. So we'll work on the UK. If you're interested, then just let us know. If we run out of inventory, which we've got a limited supply for the first run here, which will probably sell out. Then we'll be getting some more in, but you better get in quick before you can. So before they go,
Can we know a guy? It's going to happen.
we do know a guy. We're working on it. So if you're from the UK, then just leave a comment on this video on whatever channel you've got, saying that you're in the UK and that you're interested in one, and we can organise something for you. Okay, let's go bench camp. Let's do it. Let's do
All right,
bench camp.
set it up.
And it's going to take me a while to move over there. So you just keep talking, and I'll move over.
Cool. So Hayden's going to show you a daughter board, and it's going to be connected up to a radio. I think this is an old Kenwood radio that he's had, but I'm not sure. One of the daughter boards that we have planned, besides the one he's going to show you, is one that's got raw prototyping area on it. So it'll have the pin header interface to connect to the main digital interface board, and then this prototyping area on top. So you can connect it to any radio you want. You can do any kind of experimentation you want. You can do all kinds of stuff, and it's going to be that same form factor. Now this form factor, I should actually measure this real quick, is let's see, it is roughly 1.5 inches by 1 inch in a rectangular format, 1.5 by 1. So it's not going to be a ton of prototyping area, but it's going to be enough prototyping area to get quite a lot of stuff on there because the size is pretty cool. So Hayden, can you still hear us? I guess not. He was muted.
Give me a minute. My headset's not working. Typical.
Oh, okay. So I'm not sure what radio he has, but this is the 6-pin daughter board, and you can see that really bright. And we just lost the camera. You can see you could have seen the really bright logo on there. Let's look at the back of Hayden's head. That's my head. There we go. Hayden's busy at work over there getting everything ready. He's got the JLC PCB box. There we go. Now I can hear you.
Now you can hear me. Okay, let's remove that one off and let's go to here. You want to make me there we go.
All set.
What were you saying about the JLC PCB box?
I was saying there's the box with all the prototypes that we got in it.
This has all the prototypes and all of the other bits and pieces in it. So I'll show you that in a sec. So the ones that you will purchase will probably come in these blue boards. So these have what are these called? The PCB paneling. So when you get them, they'll either have the paneling on them or not, depending on how nice we are to you. But all you need to do is you just need to snap the sides off. Like the paneling's really easy to snap off, and there you go. And there might be a little bit of some stuff on there that you might want to just run a file across to just clean up. But there is the purple board. Now there is our boards that we've been experimenting with were these ones, which were the green ones. Once I can get it out of the box. So we've been experimenting with the green ones, but yeah, it'll probably be the purple ones that you receive. So this was my first attempt at interfacing this to a radio. So you could see that I just used the headers here on the top. I had a transistor, and all of this is in the manual. Do you want to share out the link to the manual as well, Tio, when you can?
Yeah, let me dig it up.
It is on the store, though. You'll see the link on the store. And there's a transistor there. There's a 10K resistor, so that's coming out of that GPIO port. it's driving the transistor, pulling that line to ground, and then that goes off to your radio. And this is all messy. This is just all me just chucking things on the board just to make it work, which is exactly what it's all about. I noticed that someone said not red. Maybe we need to go red boards next time for the next batch.
I just wish we could do pink.
Or pink, yeah. I've got 2 potentiometers here, which I was using for audio control, and then there's a little diode in there as well for squelch. I think you can see that in there. So this was my attempt at just doing a quick and dirty interface, which worked really well. And then I was like, well, we need to make this a little bit easier. Now, this is the daughter board that you can see there on the top for the 6-pin DIN. Here's the first version of that. It doesn't have the logos on the bottom or anything like that. It's got the 2 pots. But the problem with this daughter board is I realized that the 6-pin wiring was different than all the other 6-pin wiring that I found. So the wiring was actually wrong on this board. But so you couldn't just plug and play this into a Yaesu or a Kenwood, but you could still use this. So I'm going to send this off to someone and they can play around with it, or I'm going to use it here myself. So so that was the first iteration. The second iteration is sitting here on top at the moment, which, as you can see, the only thing wrong with it, which we need to change, is the LED is as bright as the sun at the moment. We need to just dim that down a little bit, which we're going to work on.
It's actually so bright that it's destroying HF networks all across the planet.
It's just absolutely ridiculous. Look how bright that LED is.
It's brighter than the red one. I didn't even know there was a red one.
So the red one is on at the moment because my radio is turned off. There you go. If I apply power to the radio here, and let me just zoom out and I'll show you. So I've got this is a Philips UHF radio here, and I've just wired it up to the back. So I'm using
what is
this
that, a
as
15 pin?
This is a 15 pin. Yep.
Yeah.
And then what I've got is I've got that wired here dodgily in the front to a 6-pin DIN connector, and I've got an All-Star node on 441.5. Now, if I transmit, I'll just zoom in on the board, and if you can ignore the green LED, if I transmit, see the blue LED just lit up?
Ooh,
So
blue, sweet.
That's indicating that the COS, if I let it go, there's the red LED saying that it's transmitting, and you can see on there's my node transmitting there. So, and all the audio and everything all works. I've adjusted this, and I'm actually going to do a video coming out soon on how to adjust your audio in All-Star so that you can know how to adjust it properly. And I might use this board as a demonstration. Yeah, sorry, John, it is crazy bright. We're gonna fix it. Don't worry about it. We're gonna fix it. This is why it's taken us some time. We haven't just rushed into it. We want to make sure it all works.
And it's always a gamble. Like you order 5 boards and crap, the LED's too bright. And you order 5 more and crap, the pinout's backwards. And you order 5 more and crap this and crap that. And finally, 30,000 boards in the trash later.
It won't burn itself out, John. It's just the particular LED that was available in stock was a lot brighter. So I just need to adjust the resistor to put less current going through it to make it a little bit dimmer. If I actually pull that apart, you'll see that that's the Toads DI board there on the bottom. This is the daughter board on the top. And
did you just do that while it was live?
I did.
Oh
it's
my
perfectly
goodness.
safe. It's perfectly
Okay.
safe. Just bzz, bzz. So as long as you line up the pin headers properly, and you can just plug it straight in. Now, that's the spacing at the moment. We need to have a look and see what spaces you can actually put in there. We've got a couple of spaces off of AliExpress. They're just above here. These are a little bit too long. And then I think these other spaces were a little bit too short. So we kind of need to, no, that was slightly too long as well. Where were the short ones? So I'm going to measure the distances here so that we can work out what spaces you can use in there if you want
And
to
they can
use
be
spaces.
spread a little bit apart for that short one that you have, the medium.
Right.
It won't hurt it any to be a little bit spread.
But even with like the daughter board sitting on there, it actually sits like reasonably comfortable. There's not a lot of flex in there. So you could literally just tie your two cables together and that could be your support, your USB cable and your other cable, depending on how you want to do this. It's all custom. You can do whatever you want.
Yep.
Now the
You could
other
also
thing
wrap
that
it in Kapton tape and do it straight up like you were going to show there. Yeah.
Yep.
The other one in your hand.
Now this one here, I just soldered the daughter board directly to the top using the headers. Now this works as well. You'll notice that at the front, there is a pin there that's sitting on top of the USB. You
And
don't
that's
need to
perfectly
worry
safe.
about that. Yeah, because
Yeah,
that's ground.
ground.
They're both ground. However, if you are worried about it, you can just stick a bit of tape on top of the USB-C connector there just to stop it. But that's another way that you can mount it as well. So that also works.
See you, Grouch.
You've also got these. You got your dip switches to change what you want for whatever audios and mutes you want. So yeah, that's the daughter board basically, and that's what I've been doing here with my ones.
So
I'm
real
not sure
quick,
what
in
else.
the chat, we got a question that popped up. Wouldn't a standard brass circuit board riser do the job? I think the answer is yes, but Hayden just doesn't have any in stock.
No, that's right. I don't have any at all. I have these other ones, but these again, these are too. I think these are too long. Oh no, I might. I mean, they might fit, maybe. No, they're too long as well. The other thing too that we also should mention as well is that the daughter boards come with 3mm holes, M3 holes, for being able to
Which
mount
is the standard
screws,
size.
which is the standard size. The Toads DI, at least on the initial runs, will be 2.7. They're too small. Now, because they're quite large, you can just put a little small 3mm drill bit through them to just drill them out if you need to.
Yeah.
So they're just too small, so you can't fit an M3. You can't fit an M3 screw through them; they just won't go through. But the daughter board, they will.
Yeah, and they're grounded, so there you go. They're grounded, so it won't be an issue to drill them out a little bit. There's plenty of meat on that hole.
Yeah, there's plenty. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. So been sort of developing between all of these boards. So the ones that are available at the moment are just the DI board, so the purple one.
Yep.
So we've got those. We're going to do another run of stock if they prove to be popular. If you want them, if you want to get some support for them, then there is support in the Toads DI Discord channel. But let us know the stuff that you want to see. So obviously we've done the 6-pin version here. The other idea that we had was RJ45, didn't we? To plug like directly into the radio in the front of yours there. The problem with RJ45 is there isn't a standard.
They're all different. Yeah.
They're all different. Whereas this 6-pin is a standard amongst a heap of radios. The RJ45 doesn't have a standard, so we might have to make some. But like, you know, it would be good to be able to make one for every single radio that we can possibly find. But the problem is that's a little bit unrealistic. So we kind of need to see if we can find the most popular radios and then work from there. The other thing that you said earlier was our mate Zig put his in his export radio directly. So because of the size of this board, if I actually open up the guts of this this radio, there is enough space here in the back of this radio for me to put that directly into the board if I really want to. So, or directly into the radio. So you can do that as well. I haven't been watching the chat.
I've been doing a little bit, but I'm searching for something on Discord to get the right Discord channel.
Okay. Chris, from the documentation, this needs an external clock.
It's working.
I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure what is that a question, or is that about the documentation, or is that something else? I'm not sure.
I think it's it's in the documentation for the CM108.
Oh, okay. Yep. RJ45 is a hot mess for everything but Ethernet. Yep.
Right. It's an
Um,
RJ45 shaped connector with 8 conductors in it.
so Leaf says, does the link get you both boards? I'm confused.
Click on the
No,
link. Yeah,
the
click
link
on
will
the
get
link.
you. The link will get you this board because we said earlier on in the stream we're still working on these daughter boards. They're almost ready. A couple of weeks and they'll be probably ready to ship. So if you want to keep up with those and whether you want, if these are going to be available first to Patreons and members. So that's a benefit that you get as being a YouTube member or a Patreon of either of our channels, or both, if you really feel inclined. You'll be the first ones to receive these and be able to buy these. So these are already being shipped to people, weren't they? We shipped these out, last week? These were already available. So
To members.
if anyone,
Members first.
to members. So if you're interested in that, then these will become available first for members. So so then they'll be available once we get those ready. I might. I mean, we're really excited about these.
For sure.
Ken, will you send out a mail when the daughter boards are available? Yes, to members, we will definitely. That'll be
And
the
then we'll do
first
another
ones to
live
get it.
stream for the public. Yeah, so
Right.
you'll get notified. It would be really bad of us to make it a secret to everybody.
Yeah,
We really hurt sales.
Yeah.
So
no, we'll
Hayden,
definitely.
I know you're not watching the screen, but Daytona Jim sent in a $4.99 super chat. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you very much. I might move back over to the main desk. I think we're done with the bench cam now.
So before you move away from the bench, I know you've got some coax on that radio. Can we light it up?
Hold on. The other thing I did forget to mention. So the idea with the daughter board is that all you do is you just take your straight through cable, and I've tested this on my Kenwood, by the way, with the new daughter board, is you take your straight through cable, you plug it in, you plug that into your radio, you plug your USB into your Pi, and away you go. You're done. You adjust your audio and you're done. And you've got yourself a high-powered node. So then that's really easy. Coax on the radio, yes. You mean into one of these?
Sure, but that's still going to get you on your All-Star, isn't it?
It will. I thought I did demonstrate that. Didn't you hear it? Hold on.
Well, I meant, do you want to have anybody call in?
I need to turn it on. Now that's a funny thing. That's an interesting story. This is actually a private node that I've set up, so no one can actually dial in, but I can make it do things.
Can you do a what do they call it? A parrot? I don't know what they call it on All-Star.
Yes. Let me just. Not sure if you can actually hear that or not.
I can hear the kerchunk, yeah.
Yeah, I've got noise cancelling on my headphones.
Thank you, Jim.
Let me just dial it in.
Jim sent a super chat to both channels, so if you didn't get it before, or if I didn't get it before, we've now got it.
I think I probably need to restart my node because I've been pulling boards out and things like that, so it's probably not a good demo to do.
I did see the LED lights change color when you were DTMFing.
Oh, the COS, yes.
Yeah, I see blue, red, and green.
There you go.
So live demo.
Live demo. It's the same as not macking on stream. I haven't rebooted this. Let me go and reboot this node. And I'm catching up with some of the chat as well. Reboot system. There we go. Yeah, talk about the parrot. The parrot is a very good way to.
I like the parrot on All-Star.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very good. This is going to be embarrassing if it doesn't work. I do have the private node set up, so no one can dial in.
So on the Parrot for All Star, when you key up and talk, it says your audio's too hot, and then you back it off. Your audio's a tad too hot, and you back it off a little bit more. Your audio's too low, and you turn it up. But on DMR, people just hit Parrot, and they're coming back. We're all drunk and underwater, and they're send it. This is perfect. I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. DMR can sound good. People just don't ever bother to tweak it. And I don't know the guy that wrote the responder for Parrot for All Star, but it's fantastic.
Yeah, and sometimes you'll dial in and you'll hear other people on there as well. Yeah, so my node's not playing happy with me, which is always typical when we want to go and do something that is live, isn't it?
No demo survives first contact, yeah.
Yeah, I can try my Kenwood because I was testing it with the Kenwood. Perhaps I can get it to work on that. Is that radio case metal or plastic? That is a plastic case on that radio. That is a very old.
I was going to say something.
Radio. It's a very old radio from like the 1990s. That thing. Let me see if I can get my. I'll move this node over and move my chair, my setup.
Hayden, I know you can't see your store right now, but I've only got 5 left.
Have you? Yeah. I haven't looked at mine. So they are in very limited supply. But rest assured, though, if you do miss out, there will be some more coming. But I wouldn't wait for that because that might be a little while before we get that. The daughter boards definitely.
Paul's asking about a generic daughter board. Yeah, Paul, we're going to do these kind of PCB prototyping setup as a daughter board, so that way you can play with that as well. Or you can just do it right in the air.
It sounds like a Phil Collins reference.
In the air.
In the air tonight.
I'm switching your camera back on.
Don't switch my audio though, because I'll hear myself.
He's on his headphones on the bench cam, and then he's on his video camera on the shack cam.
Ah, here we go. Now we're cooking. I got it hooked up. I don't know, how can I show this? I've got it hooked up to my Kenwood. Yeah. Oh, the leads. Will the leads reach? The leads won't reach. There we go. I got it hooked up to my Kenwood.
And that's using the 6-pin with a straight through cable.
Let me get can I get my phone? I didn't really plan on doing it on the Kenwood.
Are we done with the bench cam now?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't. That's where your audio is.
No, you can. You can. Get rid.
All right, now you're muted. Oh, that was high tech.
Change headphones.
That was high tech, man. I saw that. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Okay. Oh.
It looks like the storm has passed.
Just make sure you mute the laptop in the background. Okay, let me join this phone in, and I'll show you the setup that I've got. And I have to invite myself as well. So.
Oh, geez.
I'm sure. This is the challenges when we don't have like producers and stuff to do this thing for us.
Right. So real quick, you just mentioned
adding your. Hang on. AM. There we go. It was just transmitting the time.
Nice. This is one of the cool things that we hadn't actually planned on, but there isn't any reason why your phone's got a USB port. This actually, Ziggy tested it out. This actually does work, plugging the Toads board into your phone, and then you can run an app called FT8CN and connect directly to the radio as your audio source. So it's awesome. Oh, we got another participant. We're gonna look right up your nose hairs.
Hold on, I'm trying to switch my camera over. Don't go to my nose hairs yet.
There it is. Now I can go to your nose hairs. Nope, you went back. What are you on, an iPhone?
I am on an iPhone, yes. But I'm looking at the wrong camera. I need to find the switch camera button. I don't use my iPhone enough for streaming.
Very unflattering view. Chins up, Hayden.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll show you this way. So there it is. It's sitting there on the desk. Then I've got the straight through cable, which is going into the back of the Kenwood here. So it's going directly in the back. And then I've got the control head here in the top. So if I just open up the squelchy, you'll see the come up busy. There we go. We got the blue light. And the bloody green light that's like the sun. So that's transmitting. And then we just... Hang on. Let me select the right one. There we go. Let's do a parrot. Oh, let me turn down my audio there.
So your HT is transmitting RF to your Kenwood mobile.
Yep.
And then your Kenwood mobile is receiving it and then using the Toads digital interface to go over the internet to talk to Parrot.
Right.
And then you're getting it back via RF to your Kenwood HT.
Yes.
Through the Toads digital interface.
Yep. Let me just connect to the Parrot node if I can, because this is a private node. I'm not sure if I can actually get it to connect to my connect to the Parrot node or not, because it's not on All-Star Link, which is one thing that you can do with All-Star is you can build a completely private system. RPT fun. We like to have
then why
fun.
is it green? Why is it orange, Jody?
Node 55553 connected to node 1.
You can hear that?
700.
Okay.
Of course you did a video on it, Freddie Mac. Ham Radio Crusader for all your All-Star
7HH
needs.
testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm very close to my radio, so there might be some RF on this. Let's see. Not sure if that actually picked up or not. This is all live on the air. This is all unscripted. VK7HH testing.
Audio level is low. VK7HH testing.
It's low because I've got the volume knobs on the front of the Kenwood and I haven't set up the audio levels for this. Let me just tweak them up a little bit more, and I'll move away from my mic.
He's going to be tweaking knobs live, folks.
I'm going to be tweaking. I am tweaking knobs live. Just give me a sec. VK7HH testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Audio
So
level
Lars
is low.
is hearing you.
VK7HH testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So I think other people are connected into the.
Yeah. Lars is hearing you in Southern California.
VK7HH testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Southern California, Los Angeles.
Audio level is pretty good. VK7HH testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
There we go. So it's working. I've just been messing around too much with the prototypes that I'm glad that worked in the end. So.
Yeah, me too.
553 disconnected.
And all that noise you probably heard was on the other side of the radio. I had it on the wrong frequency. So yeah. So if he heard me in Texas, did he? So excellent.
Los Angeles, California.
Los Angeles. Sorry, I saw this about Texas, and I got confused. So yes, it does work.
I think the Texas Eagle is the Parrot guy.
Ah, yes. Okay. So that's working on the Kenwood. So I can plug that into whatever radio that I want, and we can go from there. Now, I'm not sure if you shared this earlier. That's the guide. So the guide is available here, and this goes through what you can use it for. It goes through the features, using it with All-Star Link, how you set it up, ham VoIP, and I've got All-Star 3 as well. I think I saw our mate Freddie Mac in the chat. He was in there. How to set up All-Star. Then it's got the pinouts here. you've got your schematic diagrams of your pinouts, all of the pin labeling, so what's assigned to what, and then what you will use it for, in and out. How to set it up with All-Star Link. So here's some real basic components to get it to work. What else have we got? A bit of description of how that all works. Your simple USB config in All-Star Link. Some additional notes about using the LED to drive for COS, and then talks about the daughter boards and how you can order. So we're obviously going to,
Add more.
modify this, but this is a first run user guide on the DI board. So yeah, there we go. Have we sold out yet?
Have we sold out yet? Pretty close. Let me double
Probably.
check.
Probably. I'm not sure. I'd have to check. My
3 left. 3 left
there are 3 left.
on my side. I don't know how many.
Yeah, I don't know how many. I'd have to log in and have a look. So I can have a quick look here and
So if you
see.
want to get it in
But,
VK and New Zealand, Hayden's your man. And then if you want to get it in the US, then I am. And if you want to get it somewhere outside of any of those, then email the closest country member next to you, and we'll see if whoever gets the best shipping. But
yeah,
I
put it in.
sent one to Canada, and it was $18 in shipping. So my friend in Canada ordered 2 of them.
Well, see, I sent one to New Zealand to, I think it was Norm, I'm not sure if Norm's been in the chat tonight, but I sent
Eric.
one to Norm, and it cost $20 to ship to New Zealand. So it gets expensive with the shipping with these things, and they're only tiny. Like we can
Yeah,
pack
1 ounce.
these. Yeah, these fit in the smallest of bags, but it's the shipping that kills us. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So inside the US, shipping is $5 anywhere in the US. It's like $4 and change.
Yeah. Yeah, well, ours is $10 if you want it tracked. If you don't
Matt.
want it tracked, then it's about $3, $4. But I don't really like not having being able to track them. But maybe I might change that and offer that as a shipping option. I've got 35 still left. So
Give Hayden some love.
they're buying you. Oh, you're out. You must be out of stock. So
I know.
but I
Glenn
won't.
is
No,
there.
you
Let's
can't.
check.
It's not about giving me some love. You can't buy the US ones from me.
Oh,
can't buy
sold
these.
out. Thank you all. You guys are awesome. Guess I know what we're doing next, Hayden.
Getting more in.
Yeah.
So yeah. Is there any more questions that we want to get to that you've starred, or have we got to
Does it do?
Daytona?
Go ahead.
Thanks.
Yeah, we did that one.
Yep.
Does it do more than a DigiRig? We kind of answered this one earlier, but I'll go ahead and give it up again. It does something different than the DigiRig does. Not necessarily more, because Dennis did a fantastic job on the DigiRig. This does carrier-operated squelch. It exposes it so that you can tinker with it. And this is more of a raw tinker board, and then we have daughter boards that go on top. So we're gonna right now, Hayden's got the 6-pin, which works with ICOM, Yaesu, or Kenwood in his hand. And it's working as we just demonstrated, and then we're going to get those ready for sale, and then we're going to do one with K connectors, we're going to do one with M connectors, we're going to do one with the 13 pin for ICOM, one with the 13 pin for Kenwood, one with the other 13 pin for Kenwood. You know, it's like the sky is the limit. And I just thought of this, you know, a triple stack with a FTDI chip on it. And so that's all this is USB plus FTDI chip plus pin headers. And this will allow you to do your cat control. Some things like FL Rig will do PTT, and Direwolf will do PTT, which will get you WinLink and packet radio and APRS. And All-Star does PTT over our existing board. I'm pointing at the wrong board. But so yeah, I mean, like this is for people that like to tinker and play and modify and have fun. And then we have the daughter boards available for more of the appliance operators. And I do have a plan. One of the other daughter boards we're going to make has this prototype layout on it, so that way you can make whatever you want. Cost of the daughter board not designed yet.
This is the other thing that we need to also point out is that both of us have lives, both of us have jobs, so we do this in our spare time. So, for instance, the development of this from conception to conception, is that the right word? From
Well, we did do it together.
from conception to getting this in the hands and working, it probably took a couple of weeks of like actual designing and
Yeah.
getting it
Sleepless
in and
nights.
testing. Yeah, so it's not like we can just whip this up. So there's lots of daughter boards that we want to do, but it's obviously going to take some time. So as these come out, then we'll be able to release those. But this one is close to being released, and then we can work out what a price is. It's not going to be astronomically high. The DI board, I would imagine, is probably going to be the main cost, and then we'll go from there. But we haven't set a price yet. So just quickly on prices. So in the US,
I like it, Eric.
To's got his, which is obviously sold out now, but $31 US. Yours is US dollars. Let's just, I'll say that again, US dollars.
Yes.
31 US dollars. My one is $49.95 Australian dollars. They're pretty much
is
the exact
the
same
same.
price.
Yeah.
The same price, just for the exchange rate is different. So, so they're your ways of purchasing those, and obviously then when we get the other ones pop up, then the daughter boards will be available on here.
Eric, that would be
So-
this board is the genderless version. The one that's
Yes,
on the screen
yes.
right now.
Yep, and like we said, you don't necessarily need to wait for the daughter board. You can get the
Jonathan
you can
Kane's
get the
here.
DI board, and you can make your own circuit up for this to work right now. So, and here he is. Here's Jonathan. We do need to
Legend.
acknowledge Jonathan
Yes.
because his name is what did we say? Kanye earlier on.
Kanye.
It's Kane, not Kanye. Well, I'm assuming it's Kane,
His name is on the
but
board.
his name is on the board. So, good stuff. No, show us again. Go on, show us. There it is. Notice it's above Steve's name as well.
Yeah, because I gave him top billing because that's the kind of guy I am.
Oh no, there we go. I don't have. Where's my
Thanks,
other
Freddie.
board? But
The Discord link is at the top of my stream chat, and it's in the description of Hayden's stream. It's in the description of my stream. I don't know which channel you're watching on, but you can find it in the description of either one of those streams. Yes, I pronounced it correctly. Did I pronounce it correctly when I said Kane or when I said Kanye? I'm not making fun of you. I'm just having fun. Oh, you got a
Just hold on a sec.
admirer. San says, "You're
yeah, I
looking
know.
handsome
I get
today."
those every day.
Wow, the sexiest man in ham radio YouTube.
Just trying to find my version 2 of the daughter board with the logos on the bottom that isn't already plugged in. Can't find it. I got so many boxes around here. That's the problem. Let's just go and see. I gave you top billing on the daughter board. Look at that. Zoom in on that.
Oh,
That
yeah,
bad
hang
boy.
on. Boom! Look at that. See, that's
Except-
what mates do.
Except, see, what we do is we do mess with people. Is the logos are out of
Yes.
center. So
Just a little tweaking. All right. Oh,
Ah.
that was the wrong button.
there we go. See, it's not just me, is it?
No, we
So
already
yeah.
showed it.
Anyway,
I
we'll
was giving
fix
you a
that.
break.
We'll fix that.
Are you able to get into your stream control center and give Frank mod power so he can help with links?
Gotta
You gotta do it in YouTube Studio.
There we go. I think Frank now has power. So there you go. Yeah. So
Super Frank.
So yeah, we're rather excited about this, aren't we, Tio?
Oh, for sure.
And-
in case you guys couldn't tell.
Yeah, we've been working on this for the last little while, and obviously you've been working on this for years until you got a kick in the
2023
pants.
for crying out loud. For crying out loud.
So
Quits
I
already.
traveled. So when I traveled over to the US, I brought with me that modified board just specially so that you could get it working, and then that's where the inspiration started. So, yeah, it's we're excited. So, obviously, we want to hear. We don't want to hear you complaining, but we want to hear.
We have
we
enough
want-
people
we've-
complaining.
I know, but we want to hear, what you guys want to see and what you want to, what you want in
Yeah.
the next iterations.
Sound off in the
So
chat.
it's- it looks like we've already had quite a few, people making some interesting suggestions, like you had with the FTDI and a few other bits and pieces. So, yeah, it should
There
be
might
good.
even be enough room on here to put the FTDI chip on. I just don't know how to do it with the USB because it would be technically 2 USB devices on one board. It can be done. Don't get me wrong. I don't know how to do it.
I haven't. I've been directing all of my time into the daughter board. The Toads DI board was all Jonathan. It was his doing. So
So it was my idea, and I asked him if he could make the board, and he's like, "Yeah, sure." And then like 5 seconds later, Jonathan with
Yeah.
his big, massive brain just here you go.
yeah. So I'm sure that we can work something out. I've been learning PCB layout and schematics again after not doing it for like, I think 15 years or something like that. I haven't touched doing schematics, and I started to do it again. I actually really enjoyed it. So maybe Jonathan and I can catch up about that. He said, "Were you ever able to get the PTT to work?"
Yep, we did it. We just demonstrated it. I know you got in a little bit late, but yeah, we just did a full all-star demonstration. And
Yep.
I would love to learn how to do this, but I have so many ideas and not enough time. So I'd
Tell
rather
me
get the
about it.
board out than have it, not get into your hands and not see the light of day because I'm sitting on it waiting for it, which is what has happened. I've been sitting on it waiting until I learned up, and I just don't have time.
Yeah, tell me about it. This is the whole thing is trying to find time, but this should, So like Glenn said, I've been wanting to make a local APRS repeater, digipeater. Yep. So you could do this. You could hook
do
this up
this.
to Direwolf, and create a digipeater real easy, real cheap, and small. So that would work well. What was it? All Star, Vara, WinLink. FT8 with a bit of
FT8,
a bit of a kick.
I think now that I know that FL Rig will support the CM108, I bet you could get it working like in 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, you can. You can definitely get it working. I had it working.
So
I just
with PTT, but it'll
didn't
work with
have it
Vox
easily
right away.
replicable. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just didn't have it easy to replicate in what I was doing. So, but like Zig with his 10-meter export radio, like put that in, wire it up, audio in and out of the radio, PTT.
Thanks, Sam.
Sorry, not PTT, audio in and out. Press the Vox button, and away you go. You're ready. So yeah.
So
yeah,
Jody
tell me
asked a while back, and Jody, I love you, brother. He wanted us to put an open headset interconnect standard on it. So what you can do is instead of plugging Smitty's open headset interconnect device into your radio directly to get audio into your ears, you can then plug this into the data port on the back of the radio, and then build an OHIS daughter board on top of this, and then plug your head and your ears and your mouth into this board. Just because you can, just because we're hams. There's no reason to do that other than, like it's the same reason why we did DMR as hams, because we can, not because it was a good idea, but because it was an idea.
Yeah, so I'm going to use this. Well, I've already done it. I was going to use this to build a 70 centimeter All-Star node for some guys who want a All-Star node on a repeater. So I'm going to build one for that for them. And the main inspiration that I had for me was All-Star. So, but I also want to use this now for Direwolf so that I can create a full digipeater now, because the digipeater boards that I've got, I use the old TNC X's and the Tiny Tracks for Digipete. The problem with those is that they're too you can't get the TNC X's anymore, and the Tiny Tracks are too expensive. So with one of these, now I can make an easy APRS digipeater if I want to, using any radio that I've got.
Yeah.
I noticed that Eric said 10 meter All-Star. We had this discussion, what was this, a couple of weeks ago. So I've got my 10 meter repeater on All-Star. So yeah, you can put your All-Star node on 10 meter simplex as well. So yeah, you can wire it up to you can wire this. I had a chat to one of my other mates, and he's going to use this to wire directly into the link port on his repeater controller, so that then he's got All-Star directly linked into his repeater on site, and then he doesn't need to like use a radio to link up to it. So
Frank wants this on his Motorola. It can be done.
Yep. Full power, high power, more power
Yeah.
on All-Star
And
everything else.
Sean is correct here. Woodworking is 90% sanding, sewing is 90% ironing, baking is 90% washing dishes, making pottery is 90% cleaning up mud from all over the room, ham radio is 90% complaining. That's absolutely correct.
No, we're not the developers of DMR, because if we were, we would have made it easy for people and made it sound good.
Yeah, I would have obfuscated the whole code plug system to make it a little simpler. Like, they just lifted it, moved it over to ham radio, and dropped it on us, and it's not impossible. It's just more difficult than I would like it to be, but that's just me.
Yep.
I would have made like the front end appliance operator style DMR, and then I would have made like the secondary like O master DMR.
All right. Is there anything else that we want to cover on this, or is there any other questions?
Well, no,
that
we're
you
sold
have in
out
the
now. We
chat?
should probably just like close the
Well,
stream
you're
out
sold
since-
out. I'm not sold out. Jeepers. People need to... No, it'll be fine. People, they'll get onto it. So, but there's still boards left in Australia and New Zealand. So everyone's at work at the moment. That's the thing. So, but yes, if there's any... If there's...
Ken, we
Thanks,
just need to
Frank.
know how.
Frank's doing the Lord's work here. If there's any other questions in the chat, just let us know. But you and I will be in and out of the Toads Discord. We've got Freddie Mac, who's also he's on the team. We've got Zig. Who else have we got? We've got a couple of others who will be in and out of the who'll be receiving their boards soon. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So we ordered a 50 pack, and the first 25 went out to members, and they're already starting to get them in their hands.
Cooley, you can't.
is, Ronnie.
Cooley, you can't buy an Australian one because it will not be shipped to the US. That is the problem. If you're in Australia, then yes, definitely. But there's no difference between my boards and TO's boards. And I think that's probably going to be the next discussion that we're going
Right
to.
after the stream.
Yeah. And look, we want to find out what we don't really know what the demand's going to be in the UK, but we definitely do have an insider. We do have a person on the inside in the UK who can sort out some
And
stuff.
you will
for us.
recognize him when you see him.
You will. So we can organise that. But if you are in the UK and you watch this stream back later on, then just pop it down in the chat if you're interested in getting these. And if we get enough interest, then we can have a chat about that.
Yep, you guys are all in on the ground floor. Andy Cowley, awesome.
No, it's not. It's not Andy. The electrons spin in the opposite direction with the Aussie boards. No, our power goes the opposite way. It definitely does.
Thanks, Jody.
So, look, some of these discussions would be great for the Discord. So pop them all in. This is the good thing,
right, Meg?
This is the good thing. This is this is what I love about these two is that these are a community project where we can all have these ideas and then we can see them all come to fruition. Tio looks confused.
Yeah, I was typing something in the Discord. Somebody Discorded me.
Yeah. Colin is right though. We do have double the power here. Is there a special section for the project on the Discord? Yes.
Toads-DI is the name of the room. So
Yes.
on a Mac, if you press Command T, I guess it's Control T on Windows. It'll pop up a little box for you, and then you can type in Toads-DI if you're already a member on the server, and it'll take you right to that chat room.
Let me see if I can create. I'll create a direct invite to the
To the room.
to the room. Yeah. So, and we'll post this in the chat in the description of the video after we're done too. There you go. So there's the direct link to the Discord, to the Toads DI chat.
That's
So
the
jump
regular
in.
Discord, or that's straight to the room? I've never done that
No,
before.
that's straight. That's straight to the room.
Sweet.
So
Max
click
has
on that.
joined
That'll
Toads.
that'll take you directly there.
Bricker's in there, Freddie Mac's in there, and that room's
There you
been
go.
alive for like a
W9
week.
TK Freddy's. Yep, they're all in there. Shortcuts are running Discords. Good. Yeah, and I think well, Darren, you're a channel member, so you'll be first to. In actual fact, I could probably hit me up, Darren, somehow, and what I can do is I can send you a daughter board, one of these ones, the early release ones. So that'll be good. So
'cause the only
yeah,
problem with the early release one is the green LED's too bright. They work, obviously. We just demonstrated.
well, no, the early release one had the pinouts around the wrong way on the 6-pin DIN, but then the version 1.1 has the bright LED, which is this one, which has the correct pinouts. So that one's good now. So version 1.2 will have a slightly dimmer LED, so that when you turn it on, you don't burn your retinas out looking at it. But you can light up the whole room, which is good when it's dark. Okay, so I don't know about you, but I've got to finish up here. But thanks everyone for sharing our excitement. We're
Yeah, for sure.
that is true. And yeah, Jonathan, let's chat. Let's try and work out some things. Couple of weeks for the daughter board. Yeah, a couple of weeks.
Well, we've got to get them in
so,
stock, and then we can get them out to you. So they've got to be made, shipped to Hayden and me, and then shipped to you.
Yeah.
It's a
The
three-way
testing is
love
pretty
affair.
much complete. It's just adjusting a couple of things. Version 1.0 wasn't too bad, but we noticed that the text was, here's version 1.0. I don't know if I can zoom this up and you can see this because this is part of the reason, but the text was a little bit too small on the board. I can't get that in focus. See how small the text was. The pinout was wrong. LED was also bright on that. So yeah, it wasn't too bad, but we just need
Jonathan,
to,
what's your name on the Discord? I forgot your handle over there. I'm trying to add you to the dev room.
Yep. Cool. All right. We done? We good?
Oh, there it is. Yep.
Jeff with shots fired in the chat.
I think I know why.
At least this product was not like thousands of dollars, that's for sure. But yes, we've been holding off. We had that we actually intended to release this a couple of weeks ago, but we found a couple of things that we wanted to just tweak first and test first before we actually brought it out. So that's why we had a couple of weeks ago that stream that we had talking about a better way to do All-Star and to get some ideas from you, which we got some ideas from you.
So should we start berating our audience, our customers, and tell them that they're not approved customers, and talk about how we don't have FCC compliance yet because we don't need it, and how everybody's speculating.
Well,
was that
that's
my
what we did.
Out loud voice.
That's what we did though a couple of weeks ago when we did that stream. Was we took
Thanks, Craig.
everyone's suggestions and made sure that we were ready. So rather than just rushing it, we didn't want to rush it.
Yeah. 2 years in the making.
Sean says he's out. No FCC ID.
Bye, Sean.
There
It
is
doesn't
no
actually operate
RF
under
stuff
Part 15
in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, there
It's
is
not
no
a scanning
RF
receiver.
stuff. It doesn't have anything in it. Yeah.
I suspect it's pure, 100% pure.
It is. Except for that LED, I'm sure that LED radiates some form of RF energy.
Different kind of spectrum, yeah.
Yeah.
Visual spectrum.
All right. No problems. Well, that's good. I'm glad that you guys are excited with it. I'm excited.
Yes.
So.
Yes. This product is known to the state of California to cause cancer. If only they would share that information with the whole rest of the world. Like California has this secret knowledge of stuff that nobody else
Yeah.
knows.
Only California. No. It only affects Californians. It doesn't affect anyone else.
Right. Right. I mean, I'm sure. Okay. I shouldn't have to do this. Hayden, do you think we need a warning label on the back? There's still some room on the back of this board. Do not eat.
We probably should
Not
put that
candy.
on. I think there's. We didn't mention the size. I think it's 30 millimeters by 20 millimeters. So you can work that out. What that is in inches.
I mentioned inches earlier. They just have to rewind.
Yeah. Okay.
It's CE. It's UL
C-
listed.
CTIC approved. CE approved. FCC approved. ROHS approved. State
It's
of
got the
California
good housekeeping
approved.
seal of approval.
Yeah, it's just approved. That's just all
It's
you need to know.
ASE certified, so it can work on your car for you. It's dolphin safe. Yeah, it
Yeah.
uses troll and pole, more so on the troll side
It's
of things.
recyclable. What else is it?
I don't know if it's AARP approved.
It might not be. Might not be.
It's not APE approved. No.
All
Oh,
right,
nice,
cool.
Chris. I can't repeat that one. Makes its
It's
own.
it is definitely HRC approved. I think Freddie Mac's got one of these in his hands, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
So I've tested. So mine. I should point out that my tests were done on Ham VoIP as well. So there's no reason why this shouldn't work on All Star Link 3, but I'm pretty sure that Freddie's working on that right now. So because I haven't set up All Star Link 3 here yet. So yeah, we done. I need to go. So
Yeah,
in case
see
you
ya,
didn't
bye.
notice that.
You said, "Are we
All
done?"
right.
a couple of times, and I'm like, "Yes," every single time, and then you
Yeah.
keep going. What are you,
No, no, no.
Midwest long goodbye?
Yep. So we'll come out with some more videos. You'll be doing some videos on this once you get round to it. I'll be doing some videos as well, and we'll have the daughter board stuff out here soon. So we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys, for sharing this with us, and catch you on the next one.
All right, see ya.